VCR, what's your favorite scary movie?
Hello out there, all you horror hounds, hellions and heathens, and welcome to Uncensored Horror. Now, this is a conversation that we didn't think we would be having so quickly, but as always, when Ghostface calls, we answer.
Steve, you could have gave us the heads up. I would have got my Ghostface mask.
Yeah,
In
fact, I still will now. Sometime during this, I will disappear and come back with it.
Well, what a great conversation starter. Speaking of disappearing and coming back, we today are going to have a really quick discussion, but it's discussion worthy about the current bloodbath that is Scream 7. Now, Katie Dilly fell off her chair with excitement. That's how excited she was.
She's got feeling.
I can't wait.
Now, obviously, after the success, and it is an undeniable success of Scream 6, like huge, one of the best box offices of the actual franchise, there was always going to be a Scream 7.
Always.
And it was in development. It was happening.
Mm-hmm.
Until.
Until.
Last year, we had a mass exodus / bloodbath from the cast and creative team of Scream 7.
Kind of, that's the fallout of an actual bloodbath.
Melissa Barrera, pictured on the right, who played Sam, made some comments on social media regarding Palestine and was swiftly and, not politely removed from the movie. Very quickly followed by Jenna Ortega on the left, who has left the movie and the franchise also because of what she says is filming, conflicts with not only Beetlejuice 2, but Wednesday season 2 and other projects she has. And then to top it all off, director Christopher Landon, pictured in the middle, left the project. His quote was, "It was a dream project that became a nightmare." And after that happened, Scream and the Scream fandom and the horror fandom in general has been sent into a bit of a tailspin as to what is going on, what is happening with, the most loved, I'm going to speak in general. I don't think it's generality. The most loved modern horror franchise. I think that, we've talked about it endlessly on this show, how this movie kicked it off for a lot of people and, made us get introduced to horror. But to lose, two prominent cast members, the refocused stars of the series, to be honest, after Scream 5, is quite a kick. Like that's something that a lot of franchises wouldn't recover from, and spun.
Well, how do we all feel about Jenna and Melissa leaving, and the director?
Well, let's put the whole picture together, and then we'll discuss, because I think we need all the information before the conversation can be full, like both sided. And we were spinning, and there were lots of rumors going on until last week, when out of nowhere, Nev Campbell
got paid.
Sidney Prescott, the star of Scream, took to Instagram with an announcement. "Hi all, I'm so excited to announce this news. Sidney Prescott is coming back. It's always been such a blast and honor to get to play Sydney in the Scream movies. My appreciation for these films and what they have meant to me has never waned. I'm very happy and proud to say that I've been asked in the most respectful way to bring Sydney back to the screen, and I couldn't be more thrilled. Huge news, but the news gets bigger. Well, actually, I could. While I've been incredibly lucky to make these films with both the Master of Horror Wes Craven and the wonderfully talented Matt and Tyler team, I've dreamt for many years of how amazing it would be to make one of these movies with Kevin Williamson at the helm. And now it's happening. Kevin Williamson is going to direct Scream 7. This was his baby and his brilliant mind that dreamt up this world. Kevin is not just an inspiration as an artist that has been a dear friend to me for many years. To the amazing Scream fans, I hope you are excited you are as excited as I am. So, ladies and gentlemen, after being cold-shouldered for Scream 6, Nev Campbell is returning as Sidney Prescott in Scream 7, to be directed by a writer of the original film and writer of many, 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 many influential millennial TV shows and movies, Kevin Williamson, to direct. It's a lot of information.
It is.
So how do we feel, guys? What's going on?
I don't think Kevin Williamson has directed before. And if he has...
He did.
What is he directing?
What did he direct?
Teaching Mrs. Tingle.
But that was a TV movie.
No,
it wasn't a TV movie.
That's the Amy Jo
Johnson
movie.
Wait, sorry, I'm thinking of the Amy Jo version.
Yes.
No, it's Miss Tingle with Katie Holmes.
With Katie Holmes and Barry Watson. Yeah.
See, that does not inspire a lot of confidence.
Look, I
think he knows, though, how to do this.
Listen, I love the man. The man...
I mean, Dawson's Creek, Scream, The Vampire Diaries. Like,
I'm not saying he doesn't know what to do with it. I'm not saying he doesn't know what to do. I'm saying it's a lot. He has
it is a lot.
A lot. This is a legacy. This is a legacy he has on his shoulders. It's a big legacy. I think that
you are always going to, no matter what is going to happen with with this franchise moving forward, people are going to be upset. Someone's going to be upset. The big thing that I've seen, yes, the initial was, oh my God, Sidney Prescott's back. Amazing. Cool. Nev.
Yeah, that's where I'm at.
But the tide is also going, how can she come back with what they did to Melissa Barrera?
No, you're never going to please anyone with.
You're never going to please anyone, but
with the Palestine issue.
Yeah, but my argument for that is, if that's the way we're going to act, should they not have kicked up more of a stink when she wasn't paid what she thought she was owed for Scream 6? It was okay when that new cast get a movie to star in on their own. I think it's a double. You can't be for one. Like, I get Palestine is a huge argument regardless.
It's two different issues.
It's a two-way street.
It's two different issues.
But it's two different issues. Yeah, I agree. It's apples and oranges. But it's also, like, what's happening in that part of the world is something that no one has the answer for. And everyone feels a certain way about it, and quite strongly. And I don't think that'll ever... No one's going to meet up. Like, there's never going to be a meeting of the minds. And I think Melissa, unfortunately, was a casualty of speaking her mind. Should Nev be pissed off on her part? I don't know, because you know what? The world's burning no matter what we do. We got to all just get on with it.
Movies are supposed to be about escapism. We watch these movies to forget what's going on. But the story continues to ravel. After Nev has signed on and agreed, there have been meetings at her request with Melissa Barrera.
I think it'd be fantastic.
Can Nev Campbell, let's put it this way, Can Nev Campbell's star power in this franchise? We're not saying that she's like Glenn Close or anyone like that. She's not Meryl Streep. She doesn't have the I want to do this project. But does her power within this franchise extend that far? We're going to have to wait and see. We're going to have to wait and see. From what I have heard and what the gossip is, Spyglass and Melissa Spyglass want to release a joint statement with Melissa, but she's not agreeing to that. She stands by her words, and that's fine. Like we wholeheartedly back anyone that believes in something so strongly that that's their conviction. And she's like, let's be honest, she's not doing herself any favors by standing behind her words. Like she's getting movies coming out, but it's this franchise that made her a big star. So, congratulations for believing in your words. And I get not wanting to agree. So I don't know if a joint statement is going to work. I think Spyglass should say something. You know what? Other people's political views aren't necessarily reflective of what we do, but we create art to entertain a world that is suffering through this. Like there are ways to say it. There are ways to make this compromise work that if Melissa wants to return, then she's able to. So this is all happening in the background still. This is all a very weird situation.
Look, we may see the Sam character return in this next sequel. She may have a small, she might be the opening kill. We don't know. So the sky's the limit now. And I think Nev wants to do the right thing by everyone because she doesn't have to waste her time and request meetings with Melissa.
No.
And the company.
She doesn't have to do. Yeah, she doesn't have to do that. Ultimately,
so she's obviously trying to fix stuff.
The negative aspect of her not returning for the last film was everyone was like, "What a greedy bitch! How dare she ask for that money?" I don't agree with that. I'm sorry if someone's the star of 4 movies before that, 5 movies before that, and
you need to frame it in the way that other people are getting paid more than the person that everyone's paying to see.
I'm going to say the answer you all expect from me. Yeah. You wouldn't say it to a man.
You wouldn't, if this was Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, or
you wouldn't say it to him.
Tom Cruise, you wouldn't question Tom Cruise asking for more money for a Mission Impossible sequel.
You would not question a man for demanding more money. You wouldn't.
Especially when she is the driving force. Like, as much as everyone wants to say it isn't, the Scream story, at its core, what we have been shown up until these last sequels is the Sidney Prescott story. And everything that's happened in these stories is because of what happened to Sidney.
Listen, if they didn't kill off Dewey, which I'm still pissed about, by the way. I'm still pissed. If this was David Arquette demanding more money, you wouldn't be screaming about it.
No.
You wouldn't bat an eyelash at it because he's a man.
And this could be a very interesting thing that happens, like what happened with Jamie Lee Curtis for the Halloween movies, for better or worse. She got the respect, she got the pay that she deserves. She is, whether you love Laurie Strode,
did that end well for her and the fan base, though.
But this is what I'm saying.
We're not even going to go there tonight.
She parlayed that franchise and her dominance in that franchise into something that was beneficial for her, and it got 3 movies made that we probably never would have gotten. And whether you like those movies or not, it's an ending to a story that has been playing out since the 70s. For a narrative purpose, for a complete story, okay, cool. And Halloween is going to have another life. Halloween is coming back as a TV series. They've just recently revealed that the TV series will be the after effects of the first movie. So Laurie Strode, probably not played by Jamie Lee Curtis at this point. She says she's done. We'll see. But Scream tried to do that. Scream tried to not be the Sidney Prescott story when it was on TV, and it didn't work. So
yeah, but it was shot in a way that it wasn't like the films either. That was
they
that show
didn't own
felt
the right.
like
They didn't own the rights to the Ghost
the Scream name on something else.
Yeah,
it worked.
If they owned the rights to Ghostface,
it got messy.
Yeah.
It got messy.
Yeah. It got
real
messy.
quick. But neither here nor there. My question is, moving on from Melissa and Jenna, let's talk about radio silence and their exit. I mean,
well, they never really intended to be hands-on with this movie. They wanted to pass it off. So after the last one, they were like, we would like to see what someone else can do with it. I think they're still producing. They are involved in some way, but there's new director, obviously.
So when this all happened, it was originally rumored that they were stepping away, and then it was going to be Christopher Landon. Now, if you know Christopher Landon is famous for Happy Death Day, which love Happy Death Day. And I think he would have been perfect for these movies, because these are the types of the Scream franchise I think goes hand in hand with these type of movies. I think it would have been great. I think he would have had a really interesting take on these.
I don't know. Look, I like Happy Death Day, but it airs too much into comedy for me, and it gave me pause that he was like, I was like, are we headed for Scream 3 territory again?
But he also did Freaky.
I haven't seen Freaky, but there are strong comedy elements. Like, yes, there are slasher elements, but there's strong comedy elements in those films as well. There is comedy in Scream, but it's self-referential. It's like genre specific. It's not, unless it's Scream 3 when it was, out and out Connie Chung jokes and stuff like that.
I think it could have been interesting.
Totally meta. I'm not interested in a sequel to Scream 3.
I think I don't.
What did you press?
I don't know. Took it off.
I don't think I don't think he would have gone straight comedy with it. I think he would have respected what this is. Yes, he would have had his take on it, but I think it could have been interesting. Kevin Williamson, I think, knows he has a big responsibility to this franchise, being so involved with it from the start.
Yeah. So let's talk about that, because a lot of people were like, well, Sam and Tara aren't there. Where does the story go? There was a story before Sam and Tara. And there's also been a story.
Well, they were starting to do a new story. Yeah, it's kind of like the road was forking off. Now they've got to turn back.
Yeah. Well, is it really? Because there was also a story without Sydney. Is this just a different path that's happening concurrently in the world? Like, who's to say in another 5 years that Melissa Barrera and Jenna Ortega, they won't go, let's come back and do a Scream movie? And they can, because at that moment, at this point in time, their story's wrapped. Yeah, it'd be like ending the Scream. Yeah, it'd be like ending the Scream franchise at Scream 2 for them. Yeah, they've had their 2 movies. They're gone.
I mean, we have a big moment here. I mean, we lost Dewey. Yeah. Let's check in on Gail. Let's check in on Sydney. I mean, that's a big moment in their lives that happened.
And so the interesting thing that seems to be happening concurrently is that the original cast of the original movie are out and about everywhere. They're at cons, they're giving interviews, they're doing all of this stuff that's happening at the same time.
Yeah, I've seen that. A lot of the people posting photos with them.
And
so what?
Skeet Ulrich, he was
giving up the plot, right?
He basically dropped the ball as to when Melissa, before this whole Neve Campbell thing was announced, he just basically in an interview said, this is the pitch that I was given as a trilogy for these new movies. So
do you reckon he thinks he can talk about it, though, because he was essentially then let go? That storyline's no longer happening.
Well, but we're going to have to wait. We're going to have to wait and see. We don't know. We still don't know what's happening. So
what was the pitch?
He was Sam's deteriorating mental state. and that by the end of the movie, by the end of the trilogy, she would assume the family mantle, which we can only assume means that she would become Ghostface, which I think is...
I hate that idea. I hated it when they wanted to do it in Friday the 13th. I hated it when they've done it in other franchises. I just think it's just... why make your survivor into that shit?
Because I love it. I love that because good versus evil, and it's a very thin line.
I think it's more relatable and more realistic with Sam's character than it would have ever been for Sydney. Everyone's like, I want to see Sydney as Ghostface. Sydney should lose her mind. And like, it was never authentic for Sydney. Like,
no, Sydney's always had a very good head on her shoulders, and she's always had a firm grasp.
Sydney's not a cluster B personality. Sam is.
But yeah, even when they were trying to make us question Sydney's sanity and Sydney's interpretation in Scream 3, it didn't ring true because we know that Sydney is a no-nonsense kind of girl. She's always been shown to be straightforward. We've never been asked to doubt her. Mm-hmm.
And that's why it's the weakest at the franchise.
The whole premise of these new Scream films is the relationship between Sam and Billy, and what does that do to someone knowing that your biological father is a notorious serial killer? Like, and
but see, I feel like this storyline played out in the fifth one when they introduced Sam. Like, is she the killer because she's fucking hallucinating? So I feel like it's a done and dusted. No, she wasn't.
I don't know. If you flash back now, if you watch the end of our last review and we talk about the last shot of this movie, of Scream 6, when she has well and truly actually stepped into her father's shoes. She's worn his outfit. She's killed someone with his knife. When they leave that lair, that shrine, she has his mask.
She has to taste for blood. She has to taste for blood.
And then throws it on the ground.
I don't know.
They were always setting it up for that to happen. I think that was always going to be the intention of having Sam, if not making her the killer, then really putting the doubt into the viewer's mind that she was losing her mind. And that could have been a very interesting twist if they turned it into a psychological thriller.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it could have. And she could have been like an unreliable narrator. Like,
as I've said with our last couple of reviews for this new thing, because she sees Billy, could she not also see Stu, Randy, Casey?
Well, she's seeing everyone. Could her crazy?
Could her mental state, fragment that much that
but then there's
why not? Because she didn't actually see Billy. Billy didn't talk to her from the dead.
She's never known her father. It's a construct.
And now that we're revisiting the original cast, we can revisit all those theories that Stalker is alive.
That's where I was headed to next, because ever since Scream 7 was announced, everyone is talking about the fan theory that was addressed in Scream 6 and Kirby poo-pooed. And let's face it.
And we can bring Kirby back.
Kirby has been famously wrong a lot in this franchise.
Okay, I love it. Okay, I'm on board. So we're going to bring Kirby back.
Alive?
Yep.
Now
I'm on board for this.
We talked to a friend of ours that is in the horror community that has written some horror movies, and wasn't. What's the movie? Halloween one with the mask. With Jamie Kennedy in it.
Halloween.
Trick.
Are we talking about your husband, Todd Farmer?
Yeah, no, we talked about Trick, yep.
Did Todd not mention that was a treatment for a possible Scream sequel? I swear to God we had that conversation. Maybe it was off air.
I don't know. I think we should call him.
Yeah, maybe. Oh, well, pop it in.
Sorry, everyone. But it's common knowledge that Scream 3 was actually meant to be set in high schools with copycat killings happening not only in Woodsboro, but all over the country. And that there was a central figure responsible for it. And that was Stu Marker from prison. He was going to be like a Hannibal Lecter kind of, ultra evil.
Listen,
I've always been a bit mute about it, but it could work. If you think now, with the world that we have created, Kirby works for the FBI.
That's what I just said.
Who's to say
back? Let's do it.
That this doesn't happen in Florida, that this doesn't happen in Texas? You know, if these copycat killings pop up all over the country,
I love.
And imagine if Kirby was the killer with Stu, she could be covering for him the whole time, even in Scream 6.
Just named the most evil states on the planet.
Here's the thing that I think would make this really interesting. Kirby
I said it.
and Sydney are the action, yeah? Gail and Stu are the tension, because Gail would get in there to do that interview. If someone's going to get in there...
Listen, I'm going to say it. It's going to be controversial, and I'm going to say it. Kill Gail Weathers. Ooh,
I don't think she needs... I think it would be... I think it'd be really interesting to have that Hannibal Lecter kind of relationship between Gail and Stu, while there's people out there trying to kill Sydney, with Kirby trying to protect them.
I'm going to say it again.
I think it's interesting. Now, Mason Gooding has... Mason might know more than he lets on. He said 2 weeks ago that we will definitely see a Scream 7 at some point. This is before anything was announced. The important thing to note is that in Nev Campbell's post, there was a completed script on her table with March 12th written on it.
But are we going to see him? Because
this is what I'm saying. Are we going to get a bleed through of both of these worlds now? Because technically, they're tied to the original franchise. They're Randy's niece and nephew.
Oh, that's
They don't need to be tied. They don't need to be tied to Sam and Tara. They can exist within this world.
I was going to say that's true. They still have a tie to the originals. They only need to be the love interests.
Well, and give them some character. Like, give them some character.
And neither of them have bowed out from the project, have they? So we're just to assume they're still involved.
Well, the sister's the new Randy. She has to stay. She has to stay.
And I love the dynamic between her and Kirby. Like, they're like
that tension. Oh, that
so
tension's
good.
there.
They're so good. But
it's there.
Could you not imagine, instead of this being a localized, small town thriller, that these characters are spread out across America?
Here's the thing,
it's happening to each of them. Like, they're each getting hunted. No one's safe at any time.
Now, is Kirby the new Dewey?
Kirby's the more successful Dewey, I think. She actually manages to land shots.
Because they killed off both Deweys, pretty much.
I know.
So is Kirby the new Dewey? Like, that is my question.
But can't Kirby just be Kirby? Because the thing with Kirby is she was the best parts of Randy, Sydney, and now Dewey. Kirby's
I'm totally fine with Kirby just being Kirby.
Kirby's
is Gail
the post-Scream baby?
Or is Gail the new Dewey? Because Gail
to be
is
fair,
Dewey.
She's Gail as well, because she does her job. I don't want to see Gail not part of it.
I never said I didn't want to see Gail part of it. I just said
I don't think she needs to. I just don't think she needs to die.
I think she does.
I think if we're going to open this world up, you can give up. Oh, it's happening again, isn't it?
No.
Okay.
You're fine.
Oh, here we go. I think if we're going to open this world up, there is a chance for a bigger body count. There is a chance for us to make more of a movie and, again, expand the story. I don't know where everyone's getting this theory that this is going to be the last movie, though. I've heard a lot. This is going to close out the series. It's going to be done. It's even Melissa Barrera recently said they're going to keep making these movies as long as they make money, no matter who's starring in them.
I think it should. I think this absolutely should be. I don't think they should keep going.
I don't know that they need to make movies.
Why do they have to make a crappy movie that doesn't make money for them to go, oh, okay, let's close the book then? Like, that's how we end up with Jason Goes to Hells and things like that.
I think this should be a
Hear me out.
blowout. I'm going to hear you out, but I think this should be an epic blowout. I think this should have an unprecedented amount of body counts. I think no one's safe.
No one's safe. Yep, I agree. And I think that's why the Stu story makes sense, because it goes back to everything we've ever known about the franchise and puts an end to it. That being said, that doesn't mean that could be the end of the Sidney Prescott story. If she manages to get rid of Stu, then everything's done.
Yeah.
I don't think you can kill Sidney at this point.
I think you're
gonna kill a mother of two small children.
I think anything goes at this point.
I'll be pissed if they kill her. I'll be pissed.
I think anything goes. I think this should be the last movie, and I think anything flies.
As I said,
Kyle. Excuse you.
In our Halloween thing about Halloween Ends, I think it would have given us more gravity and more finality had Laurie died with Michael. I don't think that needs to be the case with Sidney.
I think it does. I think they need to bury Sidney. I think they need to bury Gail. I think it needs to end here. I think evil dies tonight.
Because let's look at the facts. This franchise makes money. And we know that money makers, no matter what we think is going to happen, what we think, it's not going to matter. But if they rest Sidney Prescott now, and we don't make another Scream movie for 5 or 6 years, 10 years, her daughters will be teenagers.
Then reboot it.
Then reboot it. But she doesn't have to be dead then. You know what I mean? It would make more. I think it would make more of an impact if in 10 years when Neve Campbell is more in the Jamie Lee position to offer her and start the new franchise to give that. I get generational trauma, but if those girls, if she was to survive everything and give them the childhood and then it happens to them, I don't know. That's where I would go with it. I don't think she needs to die now. That's all I'm going to say.
I'd say offer, reboot it.
But we won't know.
Well, we don't know
what they're going to do
until there's something. And we
I was going to say until there's anything leaked, until there's anything that's promoed, we're not even going to have any idea where this is going. I don't know if they'll bring back Stu. I kind of hope they don't, because he should be dead. But if they do, I hope they do it well.
Listen,
and it'd be
if I've watched enough of Grey's Anatomy, and I have, and they tried to kill that bitch Meredith Grey off a lot. They did. Stu could survive this. He could survive this.
The amount of stab wounds that our core cast have collectively, there's a lot of people that shouldn't be alive.
Stu could survive this. He could.
I find it interesting that there is a completed script so quickly, is all I'm saying. If all of this has been happening in the background, that script has been sitting there. It's not, someone hasn't gone in 2 days. It's not like it was it's not like it was post Scream 2, Scream 3, where it's like, all right, there's a sequel, here's the sequel, it's happening. They don't have to rush. They don't have to rush this one. But the fact that they are sitting there with what looks like a completed script seems to suggest to me that it is an idea that has been floating around for a while.
Mm-hmm. No, I'm on board with you with this one.
We'll see. If anything, this has really reinvigorated my excitement for Scream 7.
I'm with you. I'm ready for Scream 7. I love the Scream movies. This is my franchise, and I want it to go big. And if it doesn't go big, I want them to go away.
Once again, we are at this point, like we were with Scream 4, like we were with Scream 5, where this is the potential to shift this franchise into a different area, finish it, spin it off, do whatever. As I said, I don't think it needs to end, but I think if we put a cap on Sydney's story for a while, and I think that would be Nev's intention. I think she would intend to end Sydney's story, but that you've still got Randy's niece and nephew, Sam and Tara, Gail, Kirby. You've still got 6 characters that are directly affected by things that happened because of their association with Sydney Prescott. The story could continue. That's all I'm saying.
I'd be very curious to see if Nev is bringing her husband, Patrick Dempsey, on.
Oh, I can't see why they wouldn't. If we're going to that story.
After Thanksgiving, he's got himself a little career in the horror genre now.
And isn't that weird that that's happened at the same time?
Isn't it shocking? Oh, they got
Patrick Dempsey's come out of nowhere again, and now he's closely tied to the horror genre. I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of things going on behind the scenes that we're not going to know about, and that's exciting to me. That takes me back to the original days of waiting for a sequel, like Scream 2, Scream 3, Scream 4, going, what's happening? What's going to happen? What is happening? I love that.
They got to bring him back.
And we know for a fact how quickly these movies change as well. So who's to say that the script we're seeing at the moment on that table, if it leaks, it's going to change like that? You know what these people, especially Kevin Williamson, he was there through the peak of it with Scream 2 and Scream 3 when everyone was, scripts leaking left, right, and center, message boards, all that kind of stuff. Who's to say that there isn't a script 2 and a script 3? Because obviously there's a script with Sam and Tara and dealing with what's happening with them. Mm-hmm. This one's Sydney focused. Who's to know what version of what story we're going to get? And that to me is exciting.
Guess we'll have to wait and find out.
We will have to wait and see. I'm guessing we are going to be waiting until 2025. There's no filming dates or anything like that announced yet, but they have turned these movies around quicker. So
I think there's a bit of money involved too. They still get rolled through pretty quickly.
This is the thing. Do you not? So I did a story again, coincidentally, very well timed, that Radio Silence and Blumhouse have done a financing deal with a company that allows them a couple of big purchases. Just as Nev Campbell comes back into the picture.
But is Radio Silence connected to Abigail?
Yeah, they've got Abigail. That's why Melissa Barrera's in it. Okay. Which looks good, by the way. I'm going to be checking out Abigail. That looks like a good movie.
It's interesting looking.
Yeah, that's good. Melissa's still doing horror, so she's got another couple of horrors coming out, but we shall see. I hope that there is a resolution for her, just so that, if we want to see the end of that story or the continuation of that story, that we can in some way. It's very simple to just go, the girls are in London with their mother. Boom. That's how you write them out of the story. Sydney's not coming. Okay, that's how easy it was to write Sydney out. Mm-hmm. It's super easy to write those two out as well. Like, we're at a very weird precipice, and I am teetering on the edge with excitement. Are you excited about it, people out there? Let us know, because what I said, and I bet you they're kicking themselves now, because there's a lot going on behind the scenes with the I Know What You Did Last Summer reboot requel as well. I bet you they're kicking themselves in the ass that they didn't get going a bit quicker, because now they're going to be in Scream Shadow.
Oh God! But it was never as big as Scream.
I know, but I think they would have had the goodwill had there not been a Scream project actually with the original star coming. Well, Jennifer Love Hewitt. Well, yeah, Jennifer Love Hewitt's definitely signed on to this I Know What You Did Last Summer thing, because they keep mentioning her.
Well, I guess now they got to
get a deal.
Oh, well, then I guess they got to get someone else.
Well, we'll see. But until the phone rings again, this has been our little Scream catch-up. It's, I think, going to be interesting. Interesting time. I love it when we where there's a trailer leak. Like that's my happy place when we get to trailer territory. It's like, it's gonna. But until we see casting news and all that kind of stuff, which will be reported on Uncensored Uncensored Radio's page, of course. We always like to report the horror stuff. We're going to quote Scream 2, the sequel conversation to be continued.
Spooky.
Spooky. Very spooky. Stay spooky, kids. Have a lovely day. We'll see you back to Slash again soon. Bye.
After this episode wrapped, we got word that two old friends would be returning to play a game again. Courtney Cox and Patrick Dempsey will return in Scream 7. Guess I better make some more room in those body bags. Sid. See you soon. Uncensored Radio.